Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to a different sort of video. So I know you guys have been pretty pumped up about my 2000 roster build that's coming. Well, I decided I'd give you guys a little bit of a taste of it with a playoff resimulation from the year 2000. Obviously, in real life, New Jersey went on to face Dallas in the Cup Finals, and New Jersey won in 6 games on an OT game-winning goal from Jason Arnott, who eventually went on to play with Dallas. A lot of players actually played for both those teams, speaking of which, but we are going to be resimulating the entire 2000 playoffs. So each round, basically, we got St. Louis and San Jose, Detroit, LA, Dallas, Edmonton, Colorado, and Phoenix in the West. And in the East, you have Philadelphia, Buffalo, New Jersey, Florida, Washington, Pittsburgh, and Toronto, Ottawa. So we could kind of see if we have a similar or different outcome than the one in real life. Thought I would give you guys a little bit of a taste of this. I also might do a STF rematch, like a Stanley Cup Finals rematch between Dallas and New Jersey, if we don't get that rematch in this video. But it should be pretty interesting to see who comes out on top, because obviously in the Western Conference, you had St. Louis losing to San Jose in 7 games. That was probably the biggest upset this year, because St. Louis had won the President's Trophy, but they were knocked out by a lower seeded San Jose Sharks, not by themselves. Detroit and LA. Detroit obviously would win the series quite easily, because Detroit obviously was a very dominant team in the 90s, especially the late 90s. And then you had Dallas and Edmonton. Dallas easily won this because obviously they went on to the Cup Finals that year, and they were coming off a Stanley Cup win in 1999. And Colorado easily took out Phoenix, because Colorado was also a very stacked team at this point in time. So Colorado, Dallas, and Detroit getting on to the next round made a lot of sense, but San Jose not so much. In terms of the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia took out Buffalo. Not really a surprise on that front, because Philly was also a very stacked team with guys like Eric Lindros, John LeClair, that type of thing. New Jersey obviously beat the Florida Panthers, considering they won the Stanley Cup that year, and Florida was actually a really good team this year, but they were more reliant on like Pavel Bure, Ray Whitney, those type of guys, and I guess their goaltending situation really wasn't the best on paper, so that's probably why they end up losing. Washington and Pittsburgh was an interesting one as well, because technically Washington was the higher seeded team, but they were knocked out by the Pittsburgh Penguins, with the likes of Jaromir Jagr on that team, obviously Martin Straka, no Mario Lemieux, because he was technically in his retirement period at that point in time. And then you have Toronto and Ottawa, and I don't really want to talk about it being a Sens fan, but Toronto would beat the Ottawa Senators, as they've done every time we played them in the playoffs. Hopefully that changes once the Sens get back into the playoffs in real life again. And yeah, that's basically that. So we're gonna rapid fire through the first 3 rounds, and then obviously once we get into the Cup Finals, we'll go more into the real-time simulation, so we can kind of see what ends up happening. And yeah, basically I think if I'm gonna predict a team to win this, I feel like St. Louis, being as stacked as they are, they could easily win it in this simulation. You also obviously have Detroit and Colorado and Dallas that I think could win it in the West for sure, because all 4 of those teams very stacked teams, defensively, offensively, that type of thing. In terms of the Eastern Conference, I could see Philly definitely winning it in this simulation because of like Eric Lindros for sure. He's a great player, of course. And then also I could definitely see New Jersey winning it based on the fact they have Martin Brodeur, they have great defensive core, they also have very solid offensive depth. In terms of any other team, I don't really see the Penguins, the Caps, the Leafs, or the Sens winning the Stanley Cup in the sim. So I'm going to say either Philly, New Jersey, St. Louis, Detroit, Dallas, or Colorado. One of those 6 teams will win the Stanley Cup in the sim. But honestly, it could be a team that doesn't really make sense. Like, for instance, Phoenix could have won the cup in this because they have Jeremy Roenick and Keith Tkachuk, but that's pretty much all they have. So we'll see who ends up winning the Stanley Cup in the sim. Thought it would be a cool little video for you guys. Let's see what ends up happening. So let's rapid fire through this first round and see who ends up winning in this first round matchup. We're going to try and not really pay attention to who's winning each game, except for I did want to take a look at that stat line. Jesus, Doug Gilmour with a 6-assist game in game 1 for Buffalo. That is kind of insane. Okay, we aren't going to try and focus too much on who is winning each series until we actually see somebody win series. But yeah, I'm interested to see how close this ends up being to in real life, because obviously I am going to be doing some tweaks to my roster after probably you guys see this video, so there might be some changes. I still have to make a lot of players in my roster build. Like, I'm making a ton of AHL players. I'm also making a ton of draft class prospects, unsigned prospects. So it's still a lot of work to do. And yeah, this roster build probably doesn't still come out for at least another month after this video. So I know that you guys are itching to play it, but unfortunately you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer on that. Okay, is anybody gonna win their series soon? Let's see. St. Louis is the first team to win. So despite in real life getting knocked out in 7 games to San Jose, they do sweep them here, which makes a lot more sense. Like I said, Chris Pronger and Al MacInnis, two of the best defensemen in the league at this point in time, and obviously having like a great offensive core in a way. A lot of young guys actually on the offensive core too, because this is before they traded for Keith Tkachuk and Doug Weight. So they have like Michael Honzus. They also have like Ladislav Nagy in the minors, that type of thing. So I could definitely see the St. Louis Blues being a very good team in this simulation. Let's see if we have any other teams joining the St. Louis Blues in the second round. New Jersey's up 3-1. That's good to see for realism purposes, at least. A lot of 3-1 series. The Pittsburgh Penguins are also the first Eastern Conference team. Well, they're the second team to pull off something that didn't actually happen in 2000, because in real life, actually no, this was the thing that happened in real life. It was them that beat the Washington Capitals, because Washington was the higher seeded team. That's why I got a little confused. The final series was actually 4-1 Pittsburgh over Washington, so that was very close to in real life's result. So sorry to the Washington Capitals, but Adam Oates, Peter Bondra, those guys didn't get it done, just like they did in real life. Let's see, and the Leafs swept the Sens. I do not want to talk about it. I do not want to talk about it. I mean, they have some really good players on that team, so it makes a lot of sense. They also have good goaltending with Cujo. So yeah, it does make a lot of sense, but that is another pretty realistic results in real life. The Leafs beat the Sens in 6 games to get to the second round. What else we got here? Detroit's now up 3-2 on LA, despite being down 0-2 originally. Buffalo's up on the Flyers. That's kind of a surprise. Devils still up 3-2. And Dallas has advanced to the next round as well. They take out the Edmonton Oilers in 5 games, which I think is actually what happened in real life. Yep, it is exactly what happened in real life, so shout out to that. Having the exact results is always pretty cool. Kind of funny also seeing Brett Hull leading him in points, considering he had the controversial Cup winner the year before. And Phoenix has survived another day. Did we have another series win? Yes, we did. Detroit has knocked out LA in 6 games. In real life, Detroit knocked out LA in 4 games, so kind of a similar result. And at least we're getting a lot of the same teams that actually went on to the second round. Philadelphia has forced a Game 7 with Buffalo. Interesting. New Jersey and Florida. Florida has forced a Game 7, so the defending Cup champions, well, not defending Cup champions, I guess, considering it actually hasn't happened, but the real-life Cup champions are on the brink, which is interesting. Phoenix and Dallas, or Colorado. Let's see if Colorado could knock out Phoenix. No, Phoenix forces a Game 7 as well. We are still due for some potential upsets here. 3 Game 7s. First one, Philly and Buffalo. And Buffalo wins. So there's the first upset, because Philly actually went to the conference finals in 2000. But basically in real life, that series went how many games? Let me look at the stats, because I don't honestly know. 4-1. So technically it was in 5 games that Philly won, but in this reality, Buffalo wins in 7. So who knows? Maybe it'll be a rematch of 1999 between Buffalo and Dallas in the Cup Finals. Now it's New Jersey and Florida. Does the actual Cup champion get knocked out here in round 1? No, they do not. They move on to the second round as they should, winning in 7 games over the Florida Panthers. In real life, it took them how many games? It took them a sweep, so Florida did a lot better than they actually did in real life. And Colorado and Phoenix. Does Colorado win the series like they should, or will Phoenix pull off the upset? We've had no real big upsets so far. And yes, they do. The Phoenix Coyotes have knocked out Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Patrick Wall, and the Colorado Avalanche. That's crazy. That's a big upset. Because in real life, that was a 5-game series that Colorado won, but that was a 7-game series that Phoenix wins. So, second round, you have St. Louis and Dallas, Detroit and Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, New Jersey, Toronto, which New Jersey, Toronto was an actual matchup, I believe, in the second round. Let me double check. Yeah, it was. In real life, New Jersey won that series in 6 games. And then you also had like Dallas and San Jose, technically, in real life. You had Colorado and Detroit, but in this case, you're definitely not having that matchup again. And Pittsburgh and Buffalo was actually Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, so the Battle of Pennsylvania, but not this time around. Okay, let's see what happens in the second round. See who is going to advance to the conference finals. See if we get an actually realistic result in terms of this. Who is going to the conference finals? It would be interesting to get the exact cup finals just because I want to see my roster build actually succeed, but if it doesn't happen, so be it. I'm just here for the memes and for the fun alternate universe. Wow, Detroit's up 3-0 on Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix doesn't really stand a chance against Detroit, but they somehow beat Colorado. Toronto's up 3-0 on New Jersey, so the defending cup champions, once again the actual cup champions, not defending, I don't know why I keep saying defending, are on the brink unless New Jersey could reverse sweep them. And will Dallas go up 3-1 on St. Louis? Yes, they will. So Dallas looking like they're going to be going to the Western Conference Finals to face Detroit potentially. And Pittsburgh looking to go up 3-1 on Buffalo. But first, does Detroit sweep the Yotes? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That would be an interesting series just because I know Deke Slayer, he's a Yotes fan now. But back in these days, I'm pretty sure he said he was a Red Wings fan. So it would have been kind of funny the fact that young Deke Slayer would have actually watched the Detroit Red Wings against the Yotes in the playoffs if that actually happened. Let's see. Does Pittsburgh take a 3-1 lead on Buffalo? They do. Okay, so Jaromir Jagr must be having a good playoffs because I don't know how else Pittsburgh is getting this far, but they are. And does Toronto knock out the actual Cup champions? I really hope not. They're 7-0 right now in the playoffs, so they're definitely due for some losses. Can New Jersey claw back into the series? Yes, they can. They survive another day. Does Dallas knock out St. Louis and go to the conference finals like they actually did in real life? Yes, they do. So we have our Western Conference matchup confirmed. It will be Dallas playing Detroit, which in real life it was Dallas playing the Colorado Avalanche, and that series went to 7 games. So I wouldn't expect anything less than 7 games between Dallas and Detroit. Both those teams are really good. In terms of the Eastern Conference, does Pittsburgh move on to the conference finals? No, they do not. Buffalo survives another day. Does Toronto move to the conference finals and knock out the actual Cup champions? No, they do not. New Jersey survives another day and forces a Game 6. Oh no, Leaf fans, are you guys going to get reverse swept? Okay, back to Pittsburgh and Buffalo because we only got the Eastern Conference matchups. Does Pittsburgh move to the conference finals or will Buffalo force a Game 7? Pittsburgh wins. So Jaromir Jagr off to the conference finals. Obviously in real life, the Pittsburgh Penguins were knocked out by the Flyers here in round 2, but we do get a Pennsylvania team in the conference finals like in real life. Now the question, does Toronto lose their 3rd in a row and does New Jersey force a Game 7? No, they do not. The Toronto Maple Leafs actually pulled it off. They're going to the conference finals versus the Pittsburgh Penguins, which means we have the opportunity for the 08-09 Stanley Cup Finals that happened back-to-back years. We also have a chance for Toronto to get to a Cup Finals, which is kind of unrealistic, at least in this time and age. It should be something that happens in real life at some point, but you never know when it will actually happen. Detroit and Dallas, I think whoever comes out of that series is definitely the one to win the Cup, though, because both those teams absolutely stacked. Toronto and Pittsburgh kind of a bit more average in a sense compared to them, so I'm definitely thinking a Western Conference team wins the Cup here. Let's see what happens in this conference finals. Detroit winning Game 1 and the Pittsburgh Penguins winning Game 1 over the Leafs. Game 2 going to the Dallas Stars, though. And Game 2 in the East going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we might have 2 series that go to like Game 7. Who knows? Next game up, the Dallas Stars win again. Dallas might win a cup in this, which would be cool considering they could have won in real life, but New Jersey managed to stifle them offensively. Let's see what happens here. Toronto takes the lead on Pittsburgh. Kind of surprised on that. And Detroit manages to tie the series again. Yeah, Detroit and Dallas should easily go to 7 games at this point. The Eastern Conference might be a bit different, though. Toronto's up 3-1 on Pittsburgh, so Toronto is literally a win away from knocking out Jaromir Jagr and going to the Cup Finals. Obviously, these point totals are going to be completely unrealistic because at this point in time, it was still during the dead puck era, so there was not a lot of offense. So you wouldn't see guys like Sundin that much over point per game, I don't think. I don't remember who actually led in playoff points that year. I should actually take a look at that, for instance. Let me take a look. Who was the best offensive player on the Devils that won the Cup? It was Arnott with 20 points in 23 games. So maybe I should have turned down the offense a little bit, but it is what it is. Okay, will the Detroit Red Wings or Dallas Stars have a chance to clinch the Western Conference? It'll be Dallas. Dallas is 1 win away from going to the Cup Finals like they did in real life. And Toronto is 1 win away from the Stanley Cup Finals. Will they do it? Will they surprise us all? No, they will not. Pittsburgh will survive another day. Does Dallas knock out Detroit here in Game 6? Yes, they do. Dallas going to the Cup Finals like they did in real life in 2000. I like it. Like to see it. Who will be meeting the Dallas Stars in the Cup Finals? Will it be Toronto? Will it be Pittsburgh? It won't be decided there. We're going to a Game 7 between Pittsburgh and Toronto to see who goes to the Cup Finals. We might as well do a real-time simulation of this, considering it's a pretty big game. Who will join the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup Finals? It's in Toronto. First period of Game 7. And it's 2-1 Leafs. Ty Domi opened the scoring. That's a little bit weird, considering that guy doesn't score. Not much, at least. Dmitry Kristich made it 2-0, and Pat Falloon, former San Jose Sharks legend Pat Falloon, gets the Penguins on the board. Shots are 11-11. It's a 2-1 game. Second period. It is still 2-1. Still 2-1. A very close game, just like this entire series has been. Who wants it in the third period? Who will face the Dallas Stars for the Stanley Cup? Power play for Pittsburgh. They do not score on it. We're almost halfway through this third period. A power play again, and Martin Straka beats Curtis Joseph on a power play goal. That's a big goal for the Penguins there to get back into this game. Are we going to overtime in Game 7? I'm not going to watch it. We'll watch if it was the Stanley Cup Finals. But we are going to an overtime in Game 7 to see who faces Dallas for the Stanley Cup. Who is going to win it? Pittsburgh's out shooting Toronto 35-24. I know you can't tell really because my head's above the screen, and I apologize about that. I don't have another screen set up where my face cam is in a different area. Who will win the Eastern Conference? Let's see. Who will be the guy? Power play for the Leafs in overtime. It's a long power play, so I don't know who took that, but nobody scores on it. And there's a shot and a goal from Yanni Laukkanen, the former Ottawa Senator, who I think was actually dealt this year with Barrasso, or not with Barrasso, for Barrasso with Ron Tugnut. The Pittsburgh Penguins take out the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Eastern Conference Finals and will be facing the Dallas Stars for the Stanley Cup on the back of Ron Tugnut, who was amazing, and Yanni Laukkanen, the game winner. Not who I was expecting, but we got a Pittsburgh-Dallas Stanley Cup Finals. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now we'll do a real-time simulation for this entire Cup Finals because obviously now we want to see what happens in every game in this Cup Finals. I probably will watch the celebration as well and talk over top of it a little bit, but I'll probably remove my face cam from it just because it might cover some of the screen. But here's what our playoff tree has come up to at this point. Let me see. Do I have one without my face cam? Let me actually just hide my face cam for a sec. Not that. There you go. Actually, I can get rid of my border. There you go. Now you guys should be able to see it. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, let's get to the Stanley Cup Finals. Who is going to win it? Is it going to be Dallas or is it going to be Pittsburgh? Game 1 in Dallas. First period. 3-2 Pittsburgh. Former Pittsburgh Penguin Sergei Zubov scored in that period. That's interesting. But Kovalev, Lang score made it 2-0. Hatcher got Dallas on the board. Robert Lang made it 3-1, but Sergei Zubov got them back. Second period. 4-3 Pittsburgh. Very offensive game so far. Rob Brown made it 4-2. Mike Keane has pulled Dallas within 1. Let's see what happens in this third period of Game 1 of the Cup Finals. So far been a very offensive game, which is not really what I was expecting. I was expecting a bit more defensive play, but Mike Modano ties the game up with a power play goal. Brendan Morrow, the future captain, makes it 5-4 for Dallas here in Game 1 as Dallas has a lead. Final few minutes, power play for Dallas lead. They don't score on it, and the Dallas Stars take Game 1 5-4 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. On the back of Mike Keane with 3 points, Robert Lang, the second star, 2 goals, and Brendan Morrow, the third star, with a goal and 3 hits. Interesting. So Dallas is 3 wins away from winning the Stanley Cup like they could have done in real life. Will they do it? Will they pull off the back-to-back technically? Because considering they won in 1999, will they win in 2000 and rewrite the history books? Second game First period. Scoreless. Very different period than last game for sure. Shots are 9-8 in favor of the Penguins. Second period. 4-1 Dallas. Jeez. Ron Tugnutt cannot match this offense that Dallas has. Also, Dallas has a way better defensive core than Pittsburgh at this point in time. So they should be easily able to lock down games. And Belfour is miles better than Tugnutt. So Zubov scores, Sliger scores, Scott Thornton scores, Jamie Langenbrunner scores, who was actually injured during the Cup Finals in real life, and Yuri Lettinen scores. Let's see what happens in this third period. See if the Dallas Stars could lock it down and have a 2-0 lead headed to the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, I think it's called. The former Mellon Arena. Mike Keane and Jamie Langenbrunner scored. Yeah, there's no way Pittsburgh's coming back in this game. Langenbrunner again, he's got a hat trick here. In game 2, it's 7-1. Outrageous performance from the Dallas Stars. Rob Brown gets his second of the series to make it 7-2. But the Dallas Stars have taken both their home games and are 2 wins away from winning a Stanley Cup in 2000. So Langenbrunner, first star with 3 goals. Hatcher, the second star, 3 assists. And Belfour, the third star. There we go. Will Pittsburgh be able to win on home ice? Because if they don't, they're going to be in a pretty bad spot. Let's see what happens in Game 3. Will Dallas take a commanding 3-0 series lead? First period of game number 3. 2-1 Dallas. Ian Moran opened the scoring, which is kind of a weird player to score. Mike Modano, Joe Nieuwendyk, some really good players there. Shots are 17-10 though in favor of Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh had a good first period, but Eddie Belfour doing what he does best and stop pucks. Second period. 4-3 Pittsburgh, and not a good period there from Eddie Belfour. It was 3-1. Guy Carpino scored. Martin Straka, Robert Lang score a pair of power play goals. And then Martin Straka again. The Pittsburgh Penguins have the lead. Can they lock it down and get back into the series? Power play for Dallas. It's a long one. And they do not score on it, surprisingly. Power play for Pittsburgh. They don't score on it. We're into the final few minutes. Power play again for Pittsburgh. They don't score. Can Dallas tie this game up late here in Game 3? Power play again for Pittsburgh. They get an empty net power play goal from Alex Kovalev, and the Pittsburgh Penguins will win their first game of the Cup Finals. Obviously, they won back-to-back games not back-to-back games, back-to-back Cups in the early 90s. But Jaromir Jagr, first star of the game, you can't see it, but with 5 assists. Alex Kovalev had 3 points, and Straka, the third star. So, yeah, without Jagr, this Pittsburgh Penguins team, I don't think would come even close to winning the Stanley Cup here. But he's a beast. He is a beast. He's probably the best overall player, I think, in my roster build, if I remember right. Here we go. Next game. Will Pittsburgh tie the series, or will Dallas take a commanding 3-1 lead? This is a really big game for both teams. First period. It is 1-0 Pittsburgh on a goal from Robert Lang. Shots are 14-10 in favor of the Penguins. Solid opening period for both teams defensively. Can the Dallas Stars get on the board, though? Second period. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Robert Lang again. And Pittsburgh might win both their home games, just like Dallas did. And we might have a series that goes a minimum of 6 games. Unless Dallas has a third period comeback in them. Do they have one? Pat Falloon scores to make it 3-0. Yuri Lettinen answers right back to make it a 3-1 game. But Michael Roosevelt scores to make it 4-1. Well, it looks like Pittsburgh clawing back into the series was just not what I was expecting. But that is, I guess, kind of realistic with some of their offensive weapons. And, yep, we're going to at least go to a Game 6 in this Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah, Robert Lang powering his team to victory. 3 stars of the game. Lang the first star, Pat Falloon the second star, and Ron Tugnutt the third. Okay, very interesting Cup Finals up to this point. Both teams have dominated pretty much their home ice games. Will Pittsburgh be able to win 3 straight and push Dallas to the brink? Or will Dallas push Pittsburgh to the brink after they were originally up 2-0? First period of Game 5. It is scoreless. Good opening period for both teams defensively. Shots are 13-10 in favor of the Stars. Second period. 2-0 Dallas. That's a good start for them in the second. Short-handed goal from Daryl Sador of all people. And then Darian Hatcher scores a power play goal. So getting some goals from the back end. Shots are 28-18 in favor of Dallas. Let's see what happens in this third period. See if Pittsburgh can claw back into this. Brett Hall makes it 3-0. Maybe it was in the crease. Maybe it was not. Who knows? Matt Barnaby scores to make it 3-1. He used to play for Dallas at some point. Jaromir Jagr getting the Penguins back within 1. Can he willpower his team to a tie game? Maybe not. Richard Matvichuk makes it 4-2. Not a guy that scores very often. Final few minutes here. A big goal there from Carbonneau. And the Dallas Stars are going to be 1 win away from the Stanley Cup. So, yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. A good response from them. So, every home team has won the games so far at this point. Will Pittsburgh be able to force a Game 7 and rewrite the narrative in Game 7 is the question. 3 stars of game number 5. Darian Hatcher with a 2-point effort. Yuri Lettinen with 3 assists. And Daryl Sador with 2 points as well. Okay. Game 6. The Cup is in the building in Pittsburgh. Will Dallas win the Stanley Cup like they could have done in 2000? First period. 2-1 Dallas. Good start for the offense. Sergei Zubov, Joe Nieuwendyk, Darius Kasparaitis, the Lithuanian, getting the Penguins on the board. Shots are 11-9 in favor of Dallas. This is a big period for Pittsburgh if they want to have a chance of winning the Cup. Second period. 3-2, still a close game. Jagr tied it up, but Yuri Lettinen might have a Stanley Cup winning goal in his bag, depending on this third period. We'll probably intervene and watch the Stanley Cup celebration like I was mentioning before, just because might as well. But obviously I'll talk over it because there is copyrighted music that plays during the Cups and stuff like that, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Let's see what happens. See if Pittsburgh could somehow force a game number 7, or is Dallas going to hold on and win the Cup? They have a power play opportunity, but they do not score there. That is kind of surprising. We might have to intervene here shortly. Pittsburgh on a power play late. They do score. The Penguins trying to survive another day, and they score again. 2 quick goals in the final 5 minutes, and they are going to force a Game 7. It looked like the Dallas Stars were going to win the Stanley Cup, but Straka had other plans. Ties it at 3. Joseph Baranek, of all people, gives them the lead a couple minutes later, and Pat Falloon with an empty net goal. Wow, we're going to a Game 7. So the home team ice winning trend is still there. Usually when I've done this in franchise mode, it's always the same team, or not always the same team. It's always the team that wins basically, or the road team, I think, that normally changes the directive. The team that isn't the home ice team in Game 7 that wins. So I'm thinking Pittsburgh might win the Cup in Dallas based on that. Let's see what happens. See if Pittsburgh will win the Stanley Cup. And no, Jaromir Jagr does not have his mullet in this franchise mode roster kind of thing. So it is a little bit weird. Wow, good start for the Dallas Stars. 2 quick goals from Brendan Morrow. Zubov scores as well. Dallas is very angry. Zubov has 2 goals, 2 in this first period. Very dominant first period. Robert Langno gets Pittsburgh on the board. Might as well keep it as a real-time simulation. It's not a short-handed goal, but a goal from Mike Modano has Dallas up 5-1 in the first period. Will they blow it is the question, because I have seen teams blow games like this before. But 5 goals on 11 shots. The Penguins have pulled Ron Tugnut, and J.S. Aubin is in net now. Former Leaf legend. Let's see what happens in the second period. Very dominant first period for the Dallas Stars. Will they add any more goals to that? Yes, they will. Mike Modano scores. Oh, boy. Now Pittsburgh's playing like the team they should have played like at this point in time, because they don't have a good defensive core. Herdina makes it 6-2. A goal from Langenbrunner, though, right back to make it 7-2. Muller makes it 8-2. This might be the highest scoring sim engine game I've ever seen in my life. Lettinen makes it 9-2. Complete dominant performance from the Dallas Stars at this point. Shots are 27-15. The Dallas Stars have literally scored on 1/3 of their shots. Craziness. Well, looks like Dallas is going to win the Cup unless Pittsburgh has some miracle in them. But what a performance from the Dallas Stars here. Pat Falloon makes it 9-3. A little bit too late, though. We're going to intervene with like 5 minutes left, because might as well. Yep, let's intervene here and watch the Stanley Cup celebration. I probably will remove my face from the screen during this point. Hopefully the number glitch isn't actually in-game when we watch it. You can see it's in glitch right now, because you can see On Jaromir Jagr, he has the exact same font colors as my Dallas Stars jersey, because for some reason the away team or one of the teams, if they have the same font type, it inherits it to the other team. So right now there's still a bug. I'm hoping it's not like that when we actually watch it, because it's going to make it look a little dumb, but I wanted to do this video anyways regardless. So let's pull my face off the screen here, so you guys can actually see everything going on, just to make it a little bit better. And yeah, let's see if Dallas holds on, which more than likely they should, unless there's 6 goals coming from the Penguins, which I don't think I've ever seen that type of thing before. And the numbers are not good for Dallas. That sucks, considering they're going to win the cup. It's a weird bug. I'll show you guys it actually right now. This bug is really annoying. I told you about it just right now. But like I said, see if the jersey numbers are the same. So you have font 15, I think it is, on Pittsburgh and on Dallas. It's for some reason inherits it over to the other team's jerseys as well. So that's why Dallas has now Pittsburgh's looking numbers. So it is going to look weird when we see the Stanley Cup celebration, which really sucks, but it is what it is. Let's just watch it and see this cup win for the Dallas Stars. Morozov walking in. Big save there by Ed Belfour. I don't know who's going to win the Conn Smythe at this point. I think I saw Brett Hull was up there in points for Dallas, so it would be kind of funny if he actually ends up winning it, considering his controversial goal the year before. Here's Sean Thornton, a shot, big save there. And a power play coming for the Penguins, not that they really need it at this stage. Langenbrunner heading to the box. Interesting note there. What's kind of funny is a lot of players, like I mentioned earlier, that played for Dallas also played for New Jersey's in the Cup Finals, or not in the Cup Finals, but down the road. So you have like Langenbrunner, for example, Joe Nieuwendyk. There's a couple other guys too. Like I think Kirk Muller played for the Devils at one point. So you have a lot of guys that played for both teams. Richard Matvechuk's another one. Another one that retired, I think, was Sean Chambers. So that's kind of neat. Okay, let's see what happens in this final minute of play. Pittsburgh trying to get 6 goals in 1 minute. Not going to likely happen. Pittsburgh's dominating play right now, but a lot of block shots from the Dallas Stars. And Darian Hatcher, the captain of the team, will knock it in. It's kind of weird that Darian Hatcher's captain, because I always thought Mike Modano would be more of a captain for Dallas, but he really wasn't that long term. What a move by Jagr. And he's stuffed there a couple times. Great blocks by Hatcher. But that was a nasty move by Jagr. Cleared out. We're almost into the final 10 seconds. You can see I made the arena try to look like Reunion Arena if you're a Dallas Stars fan. Oh, what a move by Lang, and he hits the side of the net, I think. That was close. Slager, shot, loose puck, and Belfour will freeze it with 0.4 seconds left. The Dallas Stars going to win the Stanley Cup like they honestly should have. Maybe not honestly should have. They technically got outplayed because of the fact New Jersey was just one of those kind of boring teams in a way. They are very good defensively. Like, I mean, like, they didn't give up really any goals. Broder being in net helped out a lot. So that's probably why they lost in real life. But this Dallas Stars team was really good. Like, having, like, Guy Carbonneau and all that really helped out a lot. So there you go. Dallas winning a Stanley Cup for back-to-back seasons. Winning here in 2000. They also won in 99. And obviously, in real life, they have not won since 1999. So it would be interesting to see them win a Stanley Cup here soon in real life, because I honestly really like the Dallas Stars. I like their goal horn. I love their jerseys, at least at this point. I really like the green, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. Mike Modano's going to win the Conn Smythe. Interesting. So Modano there, the Conn Smythe winner. Probably didn't have much of a beard in the 1999-2000 Cup Finals. I don't really know. But I know that he definitely had one later in his career. That's why he looks like that. I wonder who's going to get handed the Stanley Cup after Darian Hatcher grabs it. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I think Reunion Arena in this game that I made looks pretty good. There's the team-colored confetti. Love to see it. Mike Modano. Hatcher skates over with his nice mullet. Look at him celebrating that cup win. So there it is. It kind of sucks about the friggin' jersey numbers. Man, it really bugs me, this glitch. I hope they get it resolved soon, because it's kind of painful. Kind of painful. I know they have a lot of other issues in this game, but it would be nice for them to fix that. Hatcher's going to pass it off to... Brendan Morrow. Okay. Brendan Morrow, the future captain. So that's kind of an interesting one. It's like passing the torch over. Because Brendan Morrow was a captain for the Dallas Stars longer than Mike Modano was, which is kind of a weird fact. And also, yeah, Brendan Morrow did wear number 45 during his rookie year in this 99-2000 season. Who is he going to pass it off to? Who is he passing it off to? It will be, let's see, Blake Sloan of all people. A lot of people probably don't know who Blake Sloan is. Rightfully so. This guy was a bottom six kind of grinder that also played with like the Calgary Flames, I believe the Columbus Blue Jackets, but yeah, he was not in the league that long. But it's kind of weird that they would pass it on to someone like Blake Sloan. I believe this was one of his first seasons in the NHL as well. Like, I think his second year, if I remember right. And who's the last guy to get the Stanley Cup? Who is it going to be? It's going to be Manny Fernandez. So they don't even give it to Ed Belfour, but the backup in Manny Fernandez, who obviously got taken in expansion draft the year after this by the Minnesota Wild. Celebrates there with a Stanley Cup win. Manny Fernandez was one of the most underrated goalies in the 2000s based on his numbers, and kind of cool to see him get a Stanley Cup here, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't give it to any big guy like Mike Modano or Sergei Zubov for that matter, or even Ed Belfour. But there is the Dallas Stars Stanley Cup winning team for 2000. Tried to make the facials look as good as they could, but obviously it's not very easy when you're so limited on facial details that you could do in this game. There is a bug again on the screen, it looks like. Because I don't know why the shadows look so black and weird. That looked really weird for some reason. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a glitch. But there is the Stanley Cup. The Dallas Stars will have their name on it again. So there's the Cup champions. Darian Hatcher, Ed Belfour, Joel Bouchard, Guy Carbonneau, Sylvain Cote, Manny Fernandez, Brett Hull, Mike Keane, Jamie Langerbrunner, Yuri Letnin, Brad Lukic, Roman Lyashenko, rest in peace, Dave Manson, Grant Marshall, oh my goodness, Richard Maffichuk, Mike Modano, Brendan Morrow, Kirk Muller, Joe Nieuwendyk, Jamie Pusher, Brian Skrudland, and I missed out the rest of those names. But I tried to name them all just because, obviously, that's what I normally try to do at this stage. But let's go. Dallas Stars winning convincingly 9-3. If you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan and saw that in the Cup Finals, you would probably not want to watch the Stanley Cup Finals ever again at that point. But there we go. So, final thing is to take a look at player stats in this playoff simulation, and that'll be it for this video. Just thought I would do a little something different. This is a 40-minute video somehow. I don't know how this turned out to be this long, but it is what it is. Let's show you guys the playoff stats. So the best playoff performers were Mike Modano and Brett Hull with both 27 points. For Pittsburgh, it was Robert Lang and Jaromir Jagr. Matt Sundin was also up there, but he got knocked out in the conference finals. Nieuwendyk up there, Pat Falloon. In general, the Dallas Stars pretty much dominated offensively. Somehow Zubov was a -5, but Daryl Sador was a +15. Jeez. There is everybody's stats from this Cup Finals. And in goalie-wise, Ed Belfour was solid with a .917. Fernandez played a little bit as well. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this 1999-2000 Stanley Cup Finals rematch, so to speak, I guess. Well, playoff rematch. So if you guys want to see a actual Stanley Cup rematch between Dallas and New Jersey, let me know. I think I might just put this out as something different than a rematch because I haven't done a rematch in a few years. But some interesting results, I think. Definitely a somewhat realistic result as well, which is nice. And yeah, I'm looking forward to putting out this 2000 roster build, hopefully within a month, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.